I'm James Danner, I'm from Wolverhampton. I've never seen a James Bond film in my life. I don't know if it's because I've never been brought up around a family who've actually watched James Bond. Like my dad has never watched one, from what I know. Mum's never watched one. So it's not something I've ever really tiptoed into. Obviously I've seen trailers and everything when the new films come out, but I've just never seen the appeal.
Hello, Vicky here, and welcome to the special edition of the Bond Room Unlocked, where I'll be inviting you to turn the key with me on my 26-year-old Bond collection. And in this episode, fans will be helping James with his Bond dilemma. Now, I started watching Bond as a kid on bank holidays, at Christmas, because there'd always be a film on the TV, and I'd stare at the screen in awe of the amazing stunts and exotic locations, the dangerous villains, and the beautiful women. And I didn't really feel the obsession until 1995, when Pierce Brosnan stepped into the shoes of James Bond, and my world changed forever. And now I can't even think of not having Bond in my life.
Why should James watch Bond? And what is the appeal of Bond? Well, for most men, I think, this is a big part of the appeal. But let me get on to Bond's other traits that I think men love about Bond. He is well-versed, well-traveled, has the best of everything. No matter what the cost is, it's going to be the best. He is loyal to his job. He is loyal to his country. He has a lot of fast cars. The cars are a big deal to a guy. And his cars have the most unique things in them. And what guy doesn't want a car with something that says them in it?
Vehicles play a large part in a James Bond film. It's seen as a status symbol. It gets Bond from A to B. Sometimes the vehicles can be sleek and sexy, like the Aston Martin Vantage or the Toyota 2000 GT. Or sometimes they can be downright quirky and bonkers, like the Moon Buggy or the Bus. But either way, a Bond film is not complete without a vehicle of some kind, either to smash up, make it escaping, or just rocking.
Hello everybody, Double O Matt here. So basically, yeah, I've been told I've got to try to convince somebody to watch a Bond film. Now this is a bit strange really, but so obviously, what from my point of view, I just think it's the best action movie series or film series that you're ever going to see. It has absolutely everything. It's got action, it's got explosions, it's got girls, cars, gadgets, drinks, everything in one big film.
Yes, Matt highlighted there the formula of Bond, which really first cemented itself back in the 1964 film Goldfinger, which was Sean Connery's third outing.
Also, the person that I'm trying to convince is named actually James. So, you share a name with one of the most with the most famous film character in the whole world. So that's one reason to watch it, definitely.
James!
Hi, James. Bond, he just has appeal that's spans so many areas. classy guy, a charismatic guy who's able to command the situation. He has a share of any lovely ladies without ever having gotten VD. And, the areas are many. The stunts, the gorgeous women, the cars. That's pretty much, and that's just for openers. And, of course, later you have the great songs by the likes of, well, not later, but the likes of Shirley Bassey and Paul McCartney and Sheena Easton.
Yes, and as well as the famous theme tune written by John Barry, there is an abundance of themes and musical interludes by huge names. If you want to start with the 60s classics of Matt Monro, and as Robert has mentioned earlier, Shirley Bassey, through to the rocking sounds of Paul McCartney and Wings in the 70s, of course Duran Duran and Aha in the 80s, and in the 90s Garbage and Madonna, and more recently, for a younger audience appeal, Adele, Sam Smith, and of course Billie Eilish. There is a taste for everyone.
Hello James, this is JT Watson, and I've been tasked to tell you why you should watch a Bond film. And I've got just one word for you: action. If you want to see stunts, fights, shootouts, chases, any top-notch sequences like that, check out a Bond film.
So lots of food for thought there, and I bet, James, the task of where to start has just been made much tougher by elements of what we believe is appealing about Bond. Okay, so in keeping with our theme on choosing a Bond film to watch with any of the Bond actors, I want to share with you this print that I obtained back in the 1990s. It is number 155 out of 600, and it comes with a certificate of authenticity. It's by the pop culture artist Rob Larson, and I really love it. It features 5 out of the 6 Bond actors, because of course it was done pre-Daniel Craig, and it's just a real eye-catching print for me. Do you have this print, and what is your limited edition number? I'd love to know.
So what is the appeal of a James Bond film, and where should I begin? Do I begin from the start? Is there a certain actor I should watch? I always remember growing up and thinking that Pierce Brosnan was the perfect James Bond, even though I've never seen one. But for me, he just seemed to have fit the role better, and growing up he was always the James Bond I knew. So what is the appeal, and where should I begin?
Personally, James, and we're all going to be different here, I'd say start at the beginning with Dr. No from 1962 and work your way through. Get yourself familiar with regular characters and the formula of Bond. Of course, some of the films are of their time, but look past that and revel in the world of the spy. Because Dr. No is the first James Bond film, and I don't think it'll be your last.
As you can see in back of me, this is my choice for the film that I believe is the start for Bond. And this film was perfect as far as Bond, as far as the way he did the mission, as far as the action, everything else. It was Bond perfection in my view. And like I say, this movie had the very important point of him just becoming a 00. So I thought it was an excellent starting point for Bond in general.
A great choice by Denise, and my favourite from Daniel Craig. I can see why she would suggest this as a starter, as it is the first film in what will soon be a 5-film arc. So if you want a grittier, darker Bond that tries something a little bit different, then this could be the film for you. Oh, and of course, Eva Green. I know you like Eva Green.
Monsieur le chiffre. Bet 100,000. Weren't you supposed to enter so the others could see you?
Was I? Forgive me. Good luck, darling.
Now, the film which you should start with is a bit tricky because, let's be honest, there's just so many different tastes. So many people would say this is the best Bond film. I don't think there's a definitive best Bond film. I think it's different for absolutely everybody based on your taste. If you like the books, you know, go back to On Her Majesty's Secret Service or go to the Dalton films, perhaps. If you like, I don't know, you like a lot of comedy, a lot of humour, Roger Moore's your man there. If you want to play it cool, go for Pierce in the 90s. If you like the modern stuff, obviously Daniel Craig's your man. And if you just want someone that's suave and sophisticated, then go Sean Connery all the way.
That's a really useful way of breaking it down, Matt. But what do you think James should watch?
So I would personally start with Goldfinger because in my opinion, it's got everything in it. It's really iconic. And if you, like my dad said, if you like Goldfinger, you'll like any film, any Bond film. So, and if you don't like Goldfinger, then, you know, I'm not saying you're not going to like any of the others. That is, for me, the most iconic. It's got everything. That's the most probably formulaic Bond film. I don't think the others really stuck to it as much after that. So you've got everything in one film. Give Goldfinger a shot. If not, if you like something different, like I said before, you've got loads of different options there. So just watch a Bond film, to be honest. You know, so many good ones. What better way to spend 2 hours?
Goldfinger is my ultimate James Bond film and my absolute favourite in the franchise. It sets the precedent, as Matt has said, for all the Bond films that followed, and it's hard to beat in my opinion. It's Sean's third film and he's comfortable in Bond shoes. Fab choice.
Where should you start your James Bond journey? That's a tough call, but my choice would be GoldenEye. GoldenEye is Pierce Brosnan's introduction into the Bond role. It's kind of a fresh take on the series in general. In 1995, we have Judi Dench for the first time appearing as Bond's boss M, and the action of GoldenEye is incredible. Take a watch the first 10 minutes of GoldenEye, and if you're not hooked by the action in that first 10 minutes, I would be shocked.
Now, you mentioned earlier, James, that you thought Pierce Brosnan looked like how you perceive James Bond to be. Now, GoldenEye is a great choice, and it's where this collection started. It's one of my personal favourites, and it's a great choice.
What film do I recommend you start with as far as the Bond films go? Well, chronologically, you can start at the beginning with Dr. No, but From Russia with Love, that's my favorite Bond film. And not saying that you got to start with what I deem to be the favorite one, but you got a great villain in the form of Robert Shaw and wonderful opening sequence and wonderful Bond ally in the form of Karen Bay, and overall it's a pretty solid thriller.
The purpose of this channel is to take the items in this Bond room and relate them to the films that we know and love, and today we've advised James, a non-Bond fan, on where to start on his Bond filmic journey. So if you've enjoyed this episode, then give it an MI6 stamp of approval and click on the notifications below. And why not subscribe so you don't miss out on any further missions. The Bond Room Unlocked is on Facebook and on Instagram, and you can catch me co-hosting with Tom Pizzato and Dan Silvestri at spymovienavigator.com, cracking the code of spy movies. Our Thunderball Gadget podcast is out soon. I'd like to thank Denise, Matt, JT and Robert for their valued opinion and giving James some insight in where he should start. And I'd like to thank you for supporting me. Tell your friends. And remember, the Bond Room Unlocked will return.